Okay, there we are.
Hello.
Here we are. We're live for the which one? How number? What's the number? Each time.
Trick question right
Trick
away.
question every single time. It's the
22nd, third.
Well,
23rd.
23rd, right? 23rd product meetup. Thank you everyone for showing for the 23rd product meetup. What would you
Prismic Meetup became
Prismic
Prismic Meetup. Started being Product Meetup and now is Prismic Meetup.
Yeah, this is the place where we talk about a lot of different things relating to building websites and for developers and for marketing teams. Today we have quite a few things that we want to share with you. I guess you got an idea of what we're going to talk about if you looked at our newsletter anyway. So, but I want to take a few minutes to kind of put some context here, where it's like people call it back to school, it's back to business. So they were like holidays and all the things that happened in the last few months. And we are now back to the rhythm. I love it, actually, I mean, I know a lot of people like the time of holiday and it's relaxing, all of that. But I'm getting back to my routine, to all the things that, I organize my days in a way, and I like to get back to it. What do you think?
Well, I feel like it too. The thing is that I had the chance to come back from holiday, and the first week when I went back from holiday, we had this big, huge, exciting week that was going back, and that felt like like back to school, because like we brought almost all Prismic employees to Paris.
Oh yeah, quite an event. So last week we had everyone coming to Paris from all around the world, and we had this kind of time where we worked together, in real life, and we it was very interesting. We connected with everyone in the team. It was very exciting, and then we ended with a party on Thursday, and we went like visiting different places in Paris, using the canal, in a boat. It was very interesting. So, how many people were there? Like,
I don't know,
60,
close to 60.
a little bit more. Yeah. So that was cool. And then back to the routine.
Exactly. And the thing is, you come from like getting used to now working remotely, and you have the chance to meet some people in real life. And
it was like wonderful.
Wonderful experience. So some of the people that I see in the chat, for example, Alex, Vadim, that we met also, it was a really, really good experience. And today we'll come back to meeting other people, but remotely.
So back to the to business, back to my routines of sport and yoga and all the things that we do, back to our product, Prismic Meetup. Okay, we have to get used to it. So anyway, what do we have? It's your role to tell us what we have.
I'm doing like the plan. Okay, so the structure today. We'll welcome Rob. This will be the first thing that we'll have today. So Rob will talk about his transition to freelancing, how he managed to basically build his own business, how he's managing the relationship with his customer, and also how he's basically just generally working, and how we manage this transition to be a freelancer.
Yeah, it's a big transformation, going like from being, a developer to kind of do everything to be able to do your own business. And I guess we found that this story is inspiring, and there's different tools that everyone can use, and that was a good idea to bring in there. I hope you guys will enjoy it.
The second part will be around the second big part after this interview that will last like around 30 minutes. Will be on product updates. We'll discuss the new updates that we are bringing to the product. So the team and we delivered like a new exciting product updates this month, and we'll continue to deliver more value in the following months. So we'll discuss one of the big changes that was brought yesterday. That is called Think Changes, and basically the upcoming features that are coming in Prismic and Slice Machine. And so we'll discuss those things. And then I cannot read, but if I remember properly, we'll discuss the website of the month that Simon will come and present. And we'll just end up with a quick Q&A if you have any question related to the company, to the product, and to the meetup, generally speaking. This will be the structure of the meetup today. You want to see something, Salek?
No, I want to say that I'm excited that, as we are back, there are some news about the product, the product and things that we're releasing. And I'm very excited that our teams, our engineering teams are growing, and that will, be clearly, will be clear for you in the rhythm of release that is going to increase more and more. So I'm very thankful for our engineering team and everyone that's working there. But before we start, throughout the event, it's very interesting that we have your questions. It's otherwise it would have been a video, right? We put a video there and you watch it and that's it. But the idea is that you help us building this content by asking us questions. So if you have questions about freelancing and all of that, just don't hesitate. Whatever question you have, write it in the comments and we'll try to address it. And this way the content will be customized for you, for whatever you're wondering about today. And to get your hands on the keyboard and to get you writing, first maybe the first question I would like to ask you is, well, where are you watching us from? That's a very important question for me. We're a global company. I like diversity. I like hearing where you guys are watching us from, because it helps me connect to what's important to me, right? So first, that's the thing. And what's the weather doing there? Is it cold? It's starting to be cold now.
Paris.
It's rainy, it's wet, it's cold.
Yeah.
But we think that in a few weeks it will get back sunny. There's this phenomena in Paris. What we call it?
L'été indien. I don't know how to translate that in English.
Like Indian summer or something, maybe. But the fact that you get a few days or a few weeks in October that are sunny, whereas it's supposed to be like autumn or that. So that's cool. So where are you watching us from? I see Belgium. I see, what is else?
Paris.
Yeah, there's Paris. Oh, there's Canada. Oh, by the way, for the Canadians, we now have three different Canadian employees, or four? Three. 1, 2, 3. Yes,
I think so.
Yes. 3 Canadians employees. That's we love Canadians. I mean, they are too nice sometimes. We try to.
How can you be too nice?
There's Adam sitting there, our head of engineering. He just moved in from Canada. So yeah, and we have Delaware, USA. Okay, so I hear about Delaware as a state where companies register. Now I have actually someone from Delaware. Well, very welcome.
Like you thought it was some kind of empty state, just a company that registered there.
Not that much, but you hear a lot about it for companies. But this is the first time for me. Yeah, we have Poland. That's cool. That's Vadim. Thank you, Vadim. There's LA. Nevada, USA. Well, yeah, that's quite a few people from the USA. And the other question then, and I'm sorry, maybe, I hope we'll have enough time for all the content, but there's something big that happened, and you mentioned it, is that Figma got acquired, and I was very surprised. I didn't even know that it's going to happen, I don't know who's using Figma in our, the people that we have here in the live. Who uses Figma? Who likes Figma? And if you like Figma, were you surprised by this acquisition, or did you expect it? Were you waiting for it to happen? What was it? What about you, Ono? Were you surprised?
I'm not that surprised. I'm surprised in the fact that Figma sold, but I think it's a smart move in a sense from Adobe.
They had their own product.
Yeah,
and actually
I think they are seeing that this as a threat, like as something that is basically taking over the cloud, and they are doing quite some. They did a lot of work to transition to the web, to go to the subscription market and all,
which is impressive. I mean, I can only, it's very hard for an existing company to keep adapting to new things. Building a startup, it's in the beginning it's easy because you don't have any existing technology, so it's all new, right? Yeah. But the moment you have a few years in, and now you need to keep yourself up to date. Well, you need really to do good hiring there and to have a very good team to keep pushing for novelties, right?
I think it's a smart move. I think it's like when you think about it when you look at it from the perspective of Adobe, basically when you want to move to the subscription business, like there is this big question that is like, how do you do the transition, basically? Like without losing the thing that makes you money, and you know that you're a public company, so you have shareholders that are expecting you to continue to keep money, so the move is extremely tough.
Yeah.
But if it's a one shot, you acquire a company that is basically an expert at subscription model, that knows how to do it.
That maybe can bring a lot of
Exactly.
fresh blood in there, right? So also we have more people from Canada. Catalonia. You like that? You like Catalonia,
Catalonia,
right?
yes.
Barcelona and all that, right? Thank you, Jordi, for joining us. And yeah, well, some people were surprised. I see Alex and Nick.
Alex is
were
more than
surprised.
surprised. He's disappointed.
Disappointed. Okay, that's big. That's big, you know. Hi, Brad from San Diego, California. So, and the thing is, last year we were interviewing for product managers, and we interviewed this guy from actually Adobe who was working on XD, and he was brilliant.
Yeah.
And I was like surprised. I was like, wow, they have these kind of talents at Adobe, and I was. Because, you know, you have this kind of look at enterprise. And it's like, mostly they will have people that, you know, old school and not up to the technology. But when we talked to this guy, he was brilliant, right? And
extremely impressive.
Yeah, it was very impressive. And added to this, the fact that his hobby is skydiving.
Skydiving, if I remember, yeah.
And he taught us about all these kind of things that he has to measure for doing that. It was a great discussion.
Yes.
So knowing that there are these impressive people inside Adobe, I guess they know how to keep themselves up to date.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So I don't know if I'm too worried about Figma being acquired by Adobe. I guess they're good. They're good. It's just it takes time to adapt for them to the cloud model, as you're saying. But I guess I wouldn't be too worried.
I think it's We'll see what happens. And anyway, Figma is becoming like a bad product because of it. I'm sure some people will just jump into the opportunity to create a new one or something like that.
We'll see how the world. Okay, Nuha's saying like, hey, we have a lot to cover. Hey,
for us.
We have Pablo from Colombia, Medellin. It's the same place where Andrea comes from.
Yes.
I'm not sure. Yes.
Yes. Andrea is coming from Medellin.
Cool.
And we have Rob from Oxfordshire.
Yes. You want to introduce Rob?
Transition at least.
Yeah. Let's
so that
go
Nuha stops doing. Like
she's right.
Let's move.
Yeah. I mean, we need to keep up with what we have.
So yes, in the call today we'll have Rob Simpson, that is coming and connecting from Oxfordshire. I'm hoping that I pronounce it properly. He's a full-time freelancer for like a bit more than 2 years, if I understood properly, and transitioned from agencies. I'm personally really happy to have him, and maybe my first question would be about Figma. What do you think about Figma, so that we just transition into this and then have your opinion?
And if you don't have an opinion, it's fine. But just, in case.
I mean, I didn't see it coming, but yeah, as a Figma user, I can see why that Adobe bought them. I mean, it's a threat at the end of the day. Figma's got such a big share of the market now, so. Yeah, I think it's probably a sensible move on their part.
Yeah, that's a great. I'm hearing that there is a little. I mean, I'm seeing that people are reporting some echo since we introduced this. I guess probably when we introduced you into the discussion, then some echo appeared. Is it because of that?
Maybe. Is there echo when I talk now?
It's not coming from you, it's coming from me. So now, Rob, you need basically to talk alone for like the next 5 minutes while they are fixing the echo. No, I'm just joking. We are just talking at this at the beginning.
So I think maybe ask, start with Rob, and what is it? There are many things to cover in the journey, I guess.
I would love, and I would do quick questions so that maybe we avoid this echo. I would love Rob to maybe introduce a bit yourself and just give us a bit more details on your journey to become a freelancer.
Yeah, I mean, so I've been, I guess, working professionally in the industry for 10 years at this point. I think I always had the desire to freelance at some point. I started working at a software company when I was at university. So yeah, I worked with a lot of developers there, and then yeah, after university, I transitioned to work at different agencies. But yeah, there was always this desire to actually go freelance, or at the very least try it and see what it was like. So yeah, it's been just over 2 years since I've been freelancing, and yeah, it's going great. I mean, I think I built it up to go freelance over the years, but yeah, I think I was focusing a lot on the wrong stuff. And then
so what got you to make this decision, to make the transition? I mean, I'm very curious. Like, you were working in an agency, as you said, and were things going well, or there's something there that didn't go as you wanted? What was your motivation? When did it click to you, like, okay, I want to start my own business?
I mean, I think when I was at university, even back like 10 years ago, I always had the desire to work for myself. So it wasn't really a matter of what, it was a matter of when. Working at agencies, it was great. Like, I was doing a lot of good work. There was a lot of projects I was working on that was really fun. But I think for me, there was just something missing that wasn't just the work. I guess I wanted to experience more of actually working with clients, and just kind of the whole thing, really.
All right, that's really cool. Maybe you can try now. I don't know.
I can try.
Just go ahead and ask a question, and we'll see
Okay.
if people are still
You
hearing
let
an
me
echo.
know. Let me know in the chat if the echo is still there. And so, like, what was the first things that you had to learn when you transitioned to a freelancer gig and to?
Can you make sure that you have the right headphones on the board? Because I think it's echoing from the.
Is it me? Okay.
No,
Can you hear me, Rob? Still?
I can hear you.
Okay. Did you hear Noah? Or not?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So please on the chat again, let us know if this is echoing. So my question was, and I don't know if my question was clear. Like, when you transition, basically, I imagine that you had to still echo boy. So still echo. Thank you, Steven. Happy to see you on the chat, by the way. So I'm going to ask a quick question again. What were the first challenges that you faced when transitioning to freelancer?
Oh God, that's a good question. I mean, building up to it, there's always the problem of, I guess, getting client work. So I'd kind of been doing a lot of groundwork beforehand to actually to get clients my way. So that wasn't necessarily a problem at that point. I kind of dumbed it down a lot. So I kind of went into freelancing just thinking, what's the basics that I need to do? And it came down to, I need to get client work, I need to do the work, and then I need to get paid. So I kind of stripped stuff back to the point where if I could cover that, at least in the interim, then I'd kind of be okay. And then any problems I come up against, then I can kind of figure them out as I go.
And you managed to figure them out, I imagine. So
yeah,
as you said, first problem, getting customer. Second one, building the project. 3, getting to pay, getting the money, basically. Which one is the toughest one when you start?
Getting clients is probably the most difficult thing, especially if you've got no sort of any like online presence or anything. No one knows about you, or no one really is looking for your service or finding you. So like that's the number one problem. As soon as you kind of get past that point, which is the point I kind of transitioned across, I think it was about 6 months before I went freelance, I was kind of getting consistent leads. So that kind of made it a bit of a safer bet to actually try it and see how it went.
So, like, did you prepare some contacts before you start your freelancing?
I mean, I'd been working like behind the scenes over the years, sort of here and there, like working on websites and I guess just working on marketing, putting stuff online. And then I guess eventually it kind of stuck and I started getting some traction.
And so if you had to give an advice for someone that wants to transition to freelance, like how much time do you think you need to work in advance to be able to prepare basically your transition to this freelance gig?
I mean, based on my experience, it took me 8 years, but I don't think it'll take 8 years.
Okay. But like,
I think as long as you're putting stuff online, I guess if you figure out what you want to do and like what you want to help clients with, and making sure that they can find you for it. So whether that's social media, it might be a specific social network, or it could be SEO or something else completely. If your clients can find you.
Yeah, but how you know you're ready? Okay, like you're trying to do all of that. You try to go to make marketing. How do you know that it's now? It's now that's going. You're going to start and stop everything else, and stop any other revenue, and start focusing on that. What makes you feel that this is the right moment?
I mean, honestly, like I don't think you're ever really ready, 100% ready. I always thought that the day that I would go freelance, I'd have everything figured out, everything would be perfect, but it's not the reality. You kind of have to, you kind of just have to see what's sort of stacked in your favor, and as long as things are in your corner, then you just kind of got to try it.
Right. That's cool.
and anyway, we are in an industry. I feel a bit the same when we created Prismic. At the end, we are in an industry or like will succeed, and it's rather easy to succeed in a sense. And if what's the risk at the end? Like you go back to a job that in an industry where everyone is looking for talent, like you, I imagine, or
yeah, I mean that confidence that you know, and by the end of the day, you know that you've done enough. You know that agencies are interested in your services. So worst case scenario, you go there. And I like when people say, don't think of the plan B. There is no plan B. That you're going for it and you're going to make it succeed. And maybe you make a check after a 6 months, 1 year where you're at. But yeah, no plan Bs.
I mean, that's exactly how I saw it. I saw it as I need to at least try it. At that point, when I decided to leave my job to go freelance, there was enough things that kind of stacked in my favor. I was getting consistent leads. I kind of had a cushion of savings, so if I didn't get projects, then I'd be fine. And like you said, if it didn't work out, then I'd just get a new job.
Cool.
That's awesome. And so you talked a lot about the presence and building your online presence and like building your profile, being visible. So you build your website that, by the way, I found great, and I love a few things that you're writing there, because you're not talking only about your skills as a developer and what you do, but how you focus on making teams and making your customers succeed for their own goals. Like you talk a lot about the relationship that you build with your marketing teams. You talk about building, like reaching the goals that your customers are looking for. Is it something that you basically were already focused on in your agency before? Is it something that you learned by starting to work independently with customers? How did you came to basically do this transition from I'm not just building code, I'm building tools for my customers to achieve their goals?
Yeah, so I mean, I don't think I wouldn't say I really did much of that in my agency jobs. I maybe picked it up as like when I was working on the side, like if I'm going to freelance and work for clients, like I'm not just creating a website, like I'm helping them with a problem that they've got. There'll be reasons why they want a new website, and sometimes it can be as little as like the one that they've got they're kind of ashamed of, and that could be costing them business at the end of the day. If they don't like the way it looks, then they might not share it with potential customers, which
even the feeling about it, it might be good in someone else's eyes, but if you don't feel that you like it and you're proud of it, then you're not going to share it. I like the idea. Yeah, cool. And I would like maybe to kind of just for the chat, if you can tell us also, like, if you are, like, what's your role, what you do, are you a developer, are you a freelancer, or are you part of marketing team, content writer, so that it will help us also understand, like, what kind of questions we have to focus on, because you, Rob, you work with developers as well as, you know, marketing teams, right? And we can address your needs and ask us questions. You know, this is the moment. If you want, if you feel there's something important for you, then please throw the question in the chat. So I like that. You know, it shows a lot of maturity in your thinking process, because we also had to go through this. You know, when you have a product or a service, you want so much to talk about what you learn, what you know, right? And there's a very strong motivation to tell, like, we have this and that and that and that. But the perspective that you go in about it is like, I can help you with this. I can deliver this to you. You will be feeling that. This is the transformation that happens for you. And that's that thing on your website. It's very much aligned with the kind of phase that we have at Prismic, because we're like, this is what we're trying to focus on.
And I'm interested in how basically you brought this like conversation with customers. So the first time you introduce yourself to your customer because they take a lead, is this something that they have in mind already, or do they contact you for technical skills? Like, is it something that you need to introduce them? Like, I'm not just here to build a code for you, but I'm also here to build a tool for you to grow as a company. And how do you go about from the first point of contact to then the whole relationship with your customer on bringing that?
Yeah, so it's interesting. I mean, a lot of clients I've worked with over the past 2 years, they generally come to me looking for a specific skill set. So Jamstack technologies, like, that's what they're looking for. They're looking for a Jamstack website. So they'll already have that in their mind. Like, I don't need to sell them on the technology. They already they've decided that's what they want. But yeah, as the relationship progresses, you deal with different people in the team. So you might start off with like a more technical person on the project, and then as the project goes on, you kind of, at least I found, I end up then working with the marketing teams of that company.
Cool. So I have a few questions from the chat.
That's
I
good.
want to kick in with these.
There are good ones on top of it. So
yeah, they are good ones.
Do the
The first one I got from, I don't know how to pronounce it. Is it Jesus or something? This is how you pronounce it? Anyway, I'm sorry if I pronounce it not pronouncing it correctly. Are you a designer, or you hire someone for design?
So, I mean, I do design and I do development. It's interesting. So I've always been hired as a developer. Like, all my roles that I've worked in, I've been a developer. But I developed design skills when I started. And then the agencies that I've worked at, they eventually realized that I can design stuff, and then they pretty much utilize those skills too.
Okay.
But from freelancing, I'd say it's very rare that I get a client who wants me to do design and development. It's usually one or the other.
They okay, one or the other. So you could be going for design or for development. Okay, cool. And a very related question: are you doing all aspects of the project, or do you work with contractors? And I think it's a very interesting question, because, like, imagine I'm a freelancer and I can do certain things really well. Do I need to know everything to be able to start to be a freelancer, or can I work with contractors in that kind of case?
So right now I've done pretty much everything myself. And I say everything, like, I mean, it might be that someone's designed the site and then I build it, but then there's like people adding content, and maybe they've worked with SEO people or content people to put that together. But I mean, I'm getting to the point, and I'd recommend anyone does this, like, focus on one, maybe two skills. Don't try and do everything. Outsource stuff that you're not good at, or because you just can't perfect so many skills. There's always going to be someone who can do something better than you can if your predominant skill is like development. So like I've started working with copywriters.
Okay.
Started working with video editors and stuff. So don't
So
try to do
that's-
everything.
Yeah, like so for Glenn who asked the question, focus on what you do best and then you can hire someone else. Is it hard to hire like contractors for like you talked about content writing or something else? How would would you go about that?
So I mean, you could hire an agency, you could hire another freelancer. So I basically hired a freelancer. I'd seen a lot of her content on LinkedIn and
Okay.
yeah, I went on a website and then I just contacted her and be like, right, I've got this project. This is kind of what content I need writing. Can you help me out? And yeah, it's pretty much the same way as if someone contacted you to build them a website, really.
But you did some qualification, right? You tried to look at their content and see what they do, right?
Yeah. I mean, at least I've not got to the point where I just hire anyone without any sort of anything to back them up. And I think this also comes back to you if you're a freelancer. You need something that actually builds trust to the client who's contacting you, like that you can actually deliver what they're looking for. So if you have a website, you've got stuff online, it all kind of builds trust to the client that like you're someone they can, trust to deliver the solution for them.
That's interesting. And so how did you also, like, was it easy to transition from just a developer in an agency to basically not only now design and develop a website, but also to manage contractors and other people involved in the whole process? Like, did you anticipate this project management aspect of it?
I mean, I knew I'd have to do it. I guess I was always doing a certain level of it in the agencies I worked at. Because a lot of the times I'd be given designs and I'd kind of have to break it apart and project manage that for myself. So I kind of knew that aspect of like managing a project from the start to actually building the final product. But then there's other things that come into like actually managing clients, managing your schedule, managing payments, all of this stuff. I didn't do any of that when I was working at agencies. But yeah, I predominantly use Notion for it. And something I have on there is just a board that manages my schedule, and I block people in usually for days at a time. Yeah, that's how I approach it.
Right. That we shared in the screen the setup that you had on Notion, right? I have so different things on the chat. Can I go and throw a few of them there?
I guess some question might be answered just after, but like for example, I see very very interesting question on like Storybook and documentation. Those are the ones.
I'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Cool.
But it's more like, well, already for my question, I said like what you're doing, what's your role, and Bart is freelance web developer, just started since February, but was lucky enough to continue as a freelancer in the company where I work since 2008. That's a great opportunity, right? So there is a company that helps you jump into the move, but they secure you because they tell, oh yeah, cool, you can do that. That's also one choice. What do you think?
I mean, I've heard from people I've worked with before, at least maybe 2 or 3 who've done exactly that, working at the agency, and then they decide I'm going to go freelance, and then the company kind of keeps them on initially because it makes sense. It's difficult to replace not just the skill sets that a developer has at a company, but they know so much about your processes and everything.
Yeah, so right.
There's a lot that you give to a company outside of just your development skills.
Your knowledge about the company, about their processes, about the people, that's so important. Yeah, and that's very valuable.
And the relation and the connection that you created with someone is also very hard to replace. Like if you know that you are like able to collaborate and enjoy the collaboration, like that's also very hard to replace. You're not looking only for skills, you're looking for people that you can just create with and contribute and enjoy the process.
So I have Ben, and Ben is a web developer in the marketing department. They're managing a website with Prismic and Next, similar to what you do. And he has a question that we're going to talk about, but I'm going to mention it and I will let you to the flow. Do you document the site for your clients? I'm thinking of tools like Storybook to give them clarity on the option they have visually to piece together pages along the styles and content guidelines? Very, very, very good question. I love this question, but guess what? I will tell Ben to be patient because this is a topic that we're going to focus on.
I think it's a good moment just to transition to this topic. Maybe it's a good moment to just address this because we were planning to talk basically to the tools that you use, and not only the tools that you use to be productive yourself, but like that you use to empower your customer.
So we'll move to this,
Yeah.
but I would like to tell everyone in chat, thank you very much for the questions, and I please keep throwing questions, and we'll try to answer all of them. I'm here for that, and I'm going to read them, and I'm going to go and please tell us also about what you're doing in your company, what's your role, because it will help us a lot as well. Thank you very much for that. For you, I will hand it to you, Hono, for this topic.
No, that's perfect. Like so again, going back to the tools that you use to empower your customer, we are planning to focus on one project. I hope I pronounce it properly, or maybe you can pronounce it for me, Ben. Like noughts and duns.
Noughts and ones.
Noughts and ones.
Yeah.
Can you maybe explain a bit what it is while like the team behind is putting it on the screen? I imagine the whole context of this project and what you've put in place.
Yeah. So they're a Shopify agency based in the UK, and they basically work with sustainable brands. So they do e-commerce, and I have this. Not with just this client, but a lot of clients where they will have a team of developers who maybe they're like, for this case, their developers specialist skill set is in Shopify. It's not building marketing sites, or they might have developers who build the SaaS product. So a lot of the time clients will contact me to build their marketing site because either they don't have skill set in-house or they don't have resource to do it. So that's a bit of background on that client. So they had already designed the website, but they didn't have any resource in-house to build it. They didn't really have the skill set in-house to do it. So yeah, they needed someone to actually bring their designs to life. They already knew they wanted to use Jamstack stuff. They wanted to go down the Gatsby route because this was about a year and a bit ago that it was first built. I don't think they were too precious on the CMS. We used Prismic, but I think they already had experience using headless CMSs and in other projects, so I didn't really need to sell that into them.
It's a beautiful website. I saw it. You're proud of it. Are you proud of it?
But I think this is an odd one because throughout my career, I always start projects and I'm like, these look really great. And then the more you work on it and the more you look at it, you're like, is this good?
I know this effect.
you start to question, like, is it any good? And then you kind of show other people, like, oh, that's really good. And I'm like, is it? Oh, cool.
I wonder, songwriters, I'm sure when they release the song, they're so tired of it that they don't want to listen to it anymore, right?
Not just that, but like you kind of need to get over those sort of things. Like I had a real problem with, I guess, perfectionism years ago where like I wouldn't release something unless it was absolutely perfect. But nothing's perfect, and then stuff just doesn't get shipped. So like you kind of need to find a fine balance.
Yeah, we're going through that with our own website, I promise you. And that's a discussion that it's funny because sometimes we tell, like I would tell Nuha, I was like, it's like maybe good enough, we should get it out. And then she say, oh, sure, yeah, maybe. And then the other day she will tell me the same thing, and it's like, oh, how about we change this? And I'm like, no, maybe it's good enough, but it's back and forth, right? So I guess you wanted to continue in the
go ahead. No, but we were just discussing this project. I think that there is something also interesting to mention before jumping in the tools. That is that this is like some kind of let's say planet-friendly, eco-friendly project, and you had a focus on that kind of project yourself. Like you have the chance today to basically be able to choose your customer, and you're looking at this kind of customer, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes. So, I mean, when I started freelancing, it's not that I was just looking to work with anyone. I guess anyone that kind of was looking for the technical skills that I could provide them, then that's kind of the route I'd go down, and I could help them. But then I think about a year in or so, I guess I was looking for a little bit more purpose behind the work I was doing. And I guess I was sharing a bit online about, I guess, more sustainable behavior and all of that stuff. And eventually, I guess that was part of the thing that drew noughts and ones in to actually contact me and work with me. And yeah, I've had a few other clients who've, it's been a driving force for them. I had a call with one earlier today who was exactly in the same boat. They work in the sustainable sector, and they contacted me basically off the back of the work I've been doing and putting out there.
Awesome. That's very cool.
I really got Ben to be patient on the question,
That's
but I guess we should.
Coming.
Yeah, that's coming.
That's
okay,
coming.
you know,
Wait a
I'm
second.
here for
Wait
it.
a second. So, to address Ben's question, and I see that the chat is moving a lot, so we might have another one. To address Ben's question, what is basically the? Can you tell us a bit more about the stack that you use to basically empower your customer and to ease like the way they use their website, they maintain it, etc.
Yeah. So I mean, at a high level, it's Jamstack technologies, but I guess as a more granular level, predominantly use. I was going to say Netflix. So I mostly use Next.js, and I do a lot of work with Storybook, a lot of work with Prismic. So those are like pretty much every project uses those. A lot of my background is kind of building out pattern libraries at the agencies that I worked at. So think of like a HTML, CSS, Storybook version. So I have a lot of experience building out components. So yeah, Storybook's always kind of part of my process for building websites. And I think coming back to your question that you mentioned earlier about creating Storybook for clients to sort of use and look back at, so they can actually see what components they have to use in Prismic. I think it's a great idea. It's not something so I create Storybook components and I'll deploy that somewhere that clients can see it. But there'll be varying levels of like how many clients actually look at it and use it. But I think there is definitely a need for context when you're choosing a component, like especially when you got lots of different unique components and you get past the basic ones like an image. If you get a more complex component with, I can't even think of a name off the top of my head, but it could just be like, well, what is that? So actually having something like Storybook where you document to a client what components they can use and what it looks like and the options. Yeah, it's something I will probably look at doing going forward as well.
I think it's very important because sometimes we forget a little bit because, you know, we're focused on so many things. This is the thing, okay? We focus on technology, on the performance, on building the actual website, the components, the sections. But then I like to say that, you know, the website lives long after that moment, right? And often we think that that's it. The website is done, right? We use this word. We're like, okay, the website is done, but it's not done. This is the beginning. This is when it will start living, right? And it will start, normally, especially with our approach where we're pushing for slices and having this kind of website builder. This is the one where they will start using these components to create more and more pages. And if they're not guided, then they will not understand what are their options. So it's a good thing. We try at Prismic, we so much discuss this topic with Renaud and with a team on how can we bring some kind of self-documentation, basically things that will more or less be automated, generated automatically, so that the content writers can understand how can they use this and in which context. And there is a lot that we need to provide. And that's why we started like saying, okay, maybe we should not use Storybook because it's done for something else, and let's start like bringing more of these tools into Prismic, like as a first-class citizen or something.
Exactly. The thing is, and that's one of the main problem that we see, and one of the main problem that we are basically willing to tackle with Prismic is the fact that you're providing a tool that is addressing like developer use case, that is here to basically simplify the way developer works, and so that's one goal. But at the end, the website is supposed to be living after the release, and so it should be extremely easy to use for marketing team. Yeah. The thing is, and that's one of the biggest problem when you use a CMS or when you use Prismic, is the fact that basically the overall experience that is built for editor is created by developers in a sense, because they are the one configuring the tool. And so there is always this balance and this solution that we are willing and discussing, willing to ship or discussing with Sadek and with all the teams on how can we find the proper balance that is like productive enough for developers and basically flexible enough for developer and easy enough to understand when you first jump into the tool as a marketing editor.
Absolutely.
And I think Storybook is a very interesting way to address that. In a sense, maybe we can have our own approach and our own tools to create that. But like Storybook is a very interesting.
They inspired us from this, and that's why we said like, okay, that could be a good tool.
Someone is by the way asking you if you could make a live demo on how you use Storybook. I don't know if it's something that you can do currently, Rob. I don't know if you prepared that and if it's easy to do. But like as you wish.
I can click through the Storybook and kind of show.
But just while you're doing that, I think there is something that some people do, is that they do like Loom videos or something like this, and they show a few examples of how they build pages. That could be good. The video format doing for their clients, I guess it's a good format. I hear it from the clients. They do this kind of guides, video guides for their clients from agencies and freelancers.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting one because I've inherited one Prismic project, and there was a lot of inconsistency, and it's a blessing and a curse of a headless CMS, because you can kind of do whatever you want in a sense. So like if there's little consistency between pages, then when a content editor comes to something and stuff's different on every page, then it's hard for them to follow. So I always aim for some consistency when I'm building out pages and setting up content models and stuff. But I don't know, can you see my screen with Storybook on it?
Yeah, we can. That's perfect.
Okay, cool. So I mean, a project. So this is kind of my boilerplate that I have a starter for, and you can build boilerplates to kind of be really, I guess, opinionated and have so many different options in there. But I found over the years when I've done that is I just end up kind of stripping it all, like so much stuff out. So I have a very much sort of basic Storybook setup of like the basic things that like are used in components to build up bigger things. So all of my components are like really small. If you're familiar with like atomic design, I guess they're more like atoms. So like you got buttons and checkboxes, and you kind of got all your different options and everything on it. So this is kind of where I start on projects. And these are all then used to, build up bigger components like a footer. So that would then have your sort of share component in it and a text component. So that's my starting point. That's what I have. But yeah, I don't have the code to hand.
And okay, so Storybook is one of the assets that you provide to your customer in order to facilitate the transition and the handover, let's say, in a sense, even though I don't like the handover because again, the term handover, because again, it should live, it should continue, the collaboration should continue.
There's always collaboration, yeah.
Is there any other assets or tools that you provide to them so that they are able to basically jump in easily in the tool?
I mean, so once I've built a project, like I guess I do it quite iteratively with a client, so I don't really wait until the end before I show them stuff.
That's very interesting, yeah.
I constantly give them updates on like how things are progressing and kind of try and share stuff early and often. So by the time it actually comes to the end where they start putting content into Prismic, a lot of the time I have very few questions from the clients on how to use it. They jump in, they start putting stuff together. We kind of run through it, and then I'm like, right, you go ahead, you play around with it, you start using it. And if you have any questions, let me know. And for the most part, they don't really have any questions. So I guess I've either done a good job or they just don't want to bother me.
So that's very much, I don't know if you were talking about this question that we had, but it's so much very related to Jan Moore's question. What does your typical feedback look like with marketing teams? What is the timing and communication style? So before you answer this question, I feel what you said is also an approach that we're trying to push for, as in, build a few things and then get it very quickly in the hands of the people that are going to use it, to the content team and marketing, because they might maybe not like the experience that you're giving them of building a website, and they will use these things. They will try building, and they will tell you, I don't understand this, or I don't like this, or it doesn't correspond to what I want. And then you can iterate, and that thing, iterative style of putting things in her hand, experimenting with them. I guess also it's a very the foundation of what we're trying to talk about here.
Yeah, I mean, it's a process that's worked well for me. I don't really believe in the sort of grand unveiling at the end, because you're almost just like, you're leaving the client in the dark, and they're like, well, how are things going? Like, what does it look like? And then you could build it, and they're like, this doesn't look like it. Maybe you developed it and it looks nothing like the designs, and like, this looks nothing like it. I don't know how to use it. So I think, yeah, keeping clients in the loop, whatever you do, like whether you're a developer, designer, content writer, it's so important.
And then Ben is asking you, Rob, do you have stories for slices or only for components that slices use? Do you have stories for the actual slices?
Yeah. So I pretty much have the components and then patterns and then slices, and I might do like page templates. So a mock-up of what a page template.
Oh, a mock-up. That's interesting. Yeah, like an example. Look, this could look like this when you use the slices. Oh, cool.
Yeah. But I think having slices in there is important. If you're going to share it with the client for them to use, that is probably the most important thing for them to actually see the example. This is what you can use actually in Prismic and build up pages with.
And you have the same representation from what I know in your Figma files, and in Prismic, basically you have this correspondence between Figma slice, Storybook slices, and then in Prismic the usage, so that like the whole loop is clear for everyone. Thanks a lot, Rob. Was like
I guess we can go forever. I mean, there's so many questions that we still didn't answer. Some of them will be answered in the product update, I guess, part. Yes. So we can go to that. Some are for you, but we already asked you many questions here. So I think we have to move to the other part. Thank you very much, Rob, for all of that.
And
not a problem.
And if you feel like if you feel that basically you would like to work with Rob, that you just share the same let's say concern of vision on how a website should live, in a sense that it's never done, never dead, in the sense that you want close collaboration, that it's not only the technology that is important, but that basically your website is for you a mean to achieve your goals. So Rob is available on the Hire a Developer page, and I hope that we'll have the link on the chat. And you should be able to contact him directly if you feel like you would like to collaborate with Rob in the future. So for me, at least, it was a pleasure to collaborate during this meetup. So thanks a lot.
Thank you, Rob. Any last word?
Talking to me.
Yeah.
Ciao. Bye. Thanks a lot again. So, well, was extremely interesting and insightful on the transition to freelancer, the transition to how to collaborate with like your customer to basically manage like the communication and different assets on how to you simplify basically the overall onboarding of your customer into Prismic and into using the website. So awesome.
And then it's very much boils down to, you know, a lot of times there are people that come and ask like, okay, how Prismic is different than, you know, the other headless CMSs, because, you know, this is what people know about. And, you know, there's no good and bad. It's not about that. There are some people that more focus on data and, you know, that approach of like, okay, your content is data and you need to make sure that it's separated and all these kind of things. We like to focus a lot on the experience, and that's why we tell everyone like, oh, you know, you're delivering an experience, a publishing experience, and this is what we want to help you deliver, that, you know, beautiful publishing experience. So it's not about the website alone, it's about the app that will allow people, the website builder will allow the content teams to be able to publish, right? And I guess we're very aligned with Rob on this.
And we take a lot of choices in the product that are going into the direction. A lot of debated choice also internally and also with our customer on some of the things that we are approaching. The different updates that we push to the product are all going into that direction. Basically, we are not just building a tool for developers to get data, but like really a tool that will basically provide two extremely good experience. Once to develop your website as a developer, but then another one that is like ensuring that you will have an extremely good experience when as an editor you would like to build a new page or updating your website. And on the fact that basically a website is never dead, in a sense. It's like always living, and it should be always living in the sense of producing new content, producing new pages,
new sections, new features, right?
All that in the goal of like growing your website. And the other part is like living on, as you said, new feature, new sections, and like even in production you should add more stuff into it. And so on that part,
to the product.
Exactly, on that part, and in order to basically transition on how to make your website live and how to add new features and how to add new sections and new slices, we released a new version of Slice Machine yesterday. That is the 0.5.0.
So for people that maybe everyone knows about what Slice Machine, but very quickly, it's a developer tool to produce the sections. We call them the slices. So to produce the sections and ship them to the content people so that they build pages with them. That's Slice Machine. It's a developer tool. There is the Slice Machine and there is the editor. And there is a new version of Slice Machine.
Exactly. So Slice Machine is a developer tool, a tool that basically you will run locally in order to modify your to allow you to basically get faster at creating section, but also to manage your all your changes locally and to use your code as a source of truth. We have a very well-defined vision on where we want to bring this, and we are building on that vision at the moment. One of the latest updates that we released yesterday is what we call Sync Changes. It's a new feature that we just released, the team released yesterday. The thing is that currently when you want to work with Slice Machine and you want to create sections, you have to create, if you see in the screen here, create a new slice. You will have to edit your slice, for example, by adding a new field like you will see here. So if you look at this slice that I've just created, that is the boilerplate slice, and that I want to allow my editing team, my marketing team to change the color of this title, I will add a new color field just for the sake of this example. And I will select the first version of the first value for this color. I will then update my code to allow that to work. Okay, so that's what I'm doing here. And as soon as it's done, I will be able to preview these changes of this new slice that is now having the color of the title editable. So you can see here that it's following the same color. This slice is good for me. I will now add it to. I will, as you can see, I don't have any screenshots, so I will take a screenshot. But the most important part is that I will now add it to my page custom type, that is basically the page type that is allowing the team to use this slice. Once that's done, previously you had to basically push any changes how do you say, in isolation. Now, basically, and if we go to the flow of development that you are supposed to have, basically creating a new slice, adding it to the page, what will allow you is to push all those changes all together. So as you can see here, I'm also passing a new change because it's a new feature that we added, renaming a slice. As you can see, we have here a change page, please. A change page here that is basically listing all the changes that were done. So I see that I have updated my page custom type, that I've created this new slice, and that I've edited this second slice that is the rich text. And by clicking this push sync changes button, Slice Machine will now take care of updating and pushing all the changes at once, and not having you to basically click every time you do a change on the writing room. So if I go now to Prismic, I will be able to see the page custom type that is now updated with this new slice available here, and the previous rich text slice that is now renamed as expected. So this is going in line with the strategy that we are following and the vision that we are following from some time now. That is that your code should become the source of truth of your repository, of your Prismic repository. Meaning that, and if we look at the way you work as a developer, is that when you want to release new changes, you will do all your changes and then you will release it at once, thanks to Git, thanks to your CI, thanks to your CD, to basically push all the changes of your code at once. And it should be the same for your content model and your new slices. That's why we are basically building this feature. It will allow you to basically push in bulk all your changes related to your slice and all the changes related to your custom type, so that it allows you in one click to just push all those changes. Very long sentence.
That's fine. Like, you know, it's often like this is how you work. You would change a little bit here, a little bit there, different things. That is like, oh, I like what I achieve now. I would like to push it. And
Exactly.
then you push all these together. And the interesting thing about it is now, imagine you're going to an older version. Okay, so like, okay, honestly, it was better. It was better before. Last week I had a very good thing. Well, you go to Git, you go to that version, and then you will have this sync changes panel with all the things that differ from what you have on your repository. And you say like, okay, I'm pushing this instead. And that works as well. So it's very friendly with the Git workflow, right? It's very friendly with whatever you do normally on code. And that's what's interesting about it.
And so we are passing this change, so it's available in the latest version, the 0.5.0. This is coming with new changes that came since the last meetup that are the possibility to change your slices and custom type name. But we are building on top. The overall idea is that we will not stop at those sync changes, this sync changes version. We started this work by considering another feature that is one of the most requested features, that is simply allowing user to delete slices and custom type. So this is something that we are currently working on and that is upcoming. So if you go to the prismic.io/progress page, you should be aware to see all the things that we are working on currently. And that's one of the big topics that the team is currently working on. So allowing anyone now to delete custom type and delete slices from Slice Machine. On top of that, they are working in a lot of very exciting things in the scope of Slice Machine. They will allow you to, for example, we are working, and you should have a release in the next few weeks, on a native integration of TypeScript. So we will be able, as soon as you do an edition in your slices or custom type, to have types generated automatically that you can integrate into your code for your types validation, but also for facilitating your developer experience by having auto-completion when you use your IDE. That's one of the big improvements that we are doing.
That's great.
And if we go back to what Rob discussed, we are also working on a lot of improvements on how you can better document your slices by simplifying and by iterating on the way you take screenshots for your slices and the way you can upload them, manage them, etc. So that's also a big improvement that is coming. So those are the things that we are working on. We have also a lot of exciting things that are coming that we will discuss most likely in the next meetup. But if you want to follow basically the progress of the team, you should be able to see what we are working on the prismic.io/progress page. And if you want to test those new features, I will strongly suggest that you update your Slice Machine version to the latest, that is 0.5.0, and you will get all those new features available for you.
And by the way, I would like to especially thank all the people that helped us with developing this feature. Not only the internal Prismic team, which I'm very thankful for, but also all the people that helped us through the several phases of research and testing. Ben is part of that. No, it was
Bart was
both
it.
of them. Oh, Bart was part of the testing. So Bart knew already about this feature, and he's just seeing it published. How does it feel, Bart? That you knew what was happening in the future, right? So thank you very much for that. Your feedback. We got your feedback, and it was very important to have your feedback. So also, if you want to help us, well, you can do like Bart. You can help us also in that kind of phase. There are many things that we're testing out, and we try to reach out often for testers. So that would be great. Thank you very much.
I'm sure Bart also had a feel of what's coming, because he might have tested also the delete slices and custom types. So like already in advance. So yes. That's a very helpful process for us, like getting your feedback in advance. So if you feel like participating in those test sessions or in these research sessions, hopefully Dragana is looking at the meetup now and will be able to send you a link on how to register.
Are we done with the product?
We are done with the product update. I would like maybe to just do one comment to a question that was raised just before. I guess I saw two questions that are interesting to address. The first one is about updates on Next 3. So even though Lucy addressed it in part, Lucy and the video team already prepared some video on the subject on Next 3, for example. So if you want to have all those videos, if you want to get access to those videos and be sure not to miss it, I would strongly suggest that you subscribe to the channel so that you get notified when those videos are being released, and if you want to know more about Next 3 support. The second part,
Do you have any idea where the subscribe button is now on the YouTube?
I can see it on the screen, just under the title.
Okay.
And the second one question is about Gatsby support in Slice Machine. It's not something that we are planning to work on for the next 3 months, maybe a bit later. We don't know exactly, but this is not something that will happen most likely before the end of the year. Maybe in 2023, but we don't have any HEA for now. It's not really a priority in the team at the moment, even though we get some requests on it.
On what? Oh, sorry.
Gatsby support of Slice Machine.
Yeah. But there are a few things that we're trying to plan in the architecture to be able to support that. We said it a lot of times.
Exactly.
It's on our list, but
it's on our radar. It's just like I want to be fairly clear on the fact that basically you might not see any progress on that front before the end of the year. So like,
thank you for the clarity.
Yeah, exactly. I guess we are good on the product and open source update. I'm going to check the chat to see if I'm missing some stuff. No, it seems that it's okay.
I guess it's time for the website of the month.
Yes, I think so too.
So this is where I will tell you thank you very much. I'm leaving, and Simon will be coming here instead for featuring the website of the month. And then there is a session of QA if there are some questions that they get not answered. It was fun to be with you. Thank you very much for the interaction in the chat. It's great. There are a lot of questions, and it helped us make content for you. And I will let you for Simon and Renaud.
Thank you, Sadek.
It's a warm seat.
Hello, Simon.
Hello, Renaud. It's been a while. It's been a while since the last time I was in this seat.
Should I say hello or bonjour?
Bonjour. Since we reviewing some French websites today, I guess
it's called
which bonjour.paris. And it's anyway, it's I might need to present myself first,
but
right?
maybe you could. Yes, I think it's a good idea.
So I'm part of agency partnerships team here at Prismic, and what we do, we try to help agencies and their clients to use Prismic to the fullest extent, and to educate them about the latest features. And today's website of one of our partner agencies, bonjour.paris. I hope I say R very.
Oh, you say it perfectly.
Thank you. I'm trying. And they're our partners, and they have quite a few projects already with Prismic. So today we're actually reviewing their own website that's been built with Prismic. And and the journey of this website, we've talked with the internal team there. And it was an interesting journey for them because before they were using other headless CMS. I don't know if I should say the name of it, but I won't. And the website, basically this agency is specialized in design, and it's a full service agency that providing rebranding, design, web development. And I like particularly this website because it's a beautiful and very interactive website, right?
It's a nice one.
And
it has this feeling of like old, the luxury web agency, like with like some cool animation and scroll, etc.
Right. And this kind of websites, you land on it and you want to just interact, click, see how all the different things pop up. And yeah, what's cool about this website, when you just land on it, you get on the side scroll, which is and there is a beautiful cursor that follows it. And if you click on one of the projects, you redirect it to the the bottom scroll, the down scroll.
Yeah.
So it's very interactive website that has been built with Next.js, and then they've been using this tech stack of Prismic and Next.js for more than 4 years already, since the very beginning. And they have quite a few projects with Prismic that been launched during this time. And as you said, this agency is more specialized in like luxury and luxury brands and e-commerce websites. And you can see there some of their work on our partners page, on the hire developer page, that someone can drop it in the chat. Do you have any questions for me?
What's your favorite project from Bonjour Paris?
Oh, actually, there is one of the latest one that got out last month. It was the Carnot. I know that sometimes I'm pronouncing your name Renault, Carnot. Carnot. It's a website. It's like a luxury brand for electronic cigarettes, and I'm personally not into electronic cigarettes, but it's a very beautifully designed website that also built with Next.js and Prismic and slices.
I saw by browsing their website, I saw that they've made the JR website. Do you know JR, the artist, like the photographer? Do you know this guy?
No,
like a photographer, like street artist that is doing like big photography collage in the street. Like you saw maybe one of these series that is called Women Are Heroes, where you see the eyes and the face of women. Like he did like a huge installation in the Louvre a few years ago, like wonderful. And I saw after that it's made with Prismic, and I'm like, is JR going himself in the Prismic repository updating the website? And I'm like, okay. Then next time I go into his exhibition or something like that, would be like his website is made with Prismic, and that's always cool to be able to see that people that you, how do you say, look after and that you admire in a sense are basically using your tool, using their product, and what you build. That's an awesome feeling personally that I have. Yeah, I mean, I have the same. Sometimes you come across some of the companies that are using Prismic that you're using every day. And it's a great feeling that you're part of it, and helping these studios and companies to use Prismic to the fullest and help them update their website. How do you choose the website of the month, by the way? Oh, that's a tricky one again. I told you that I will trick you in one question. It's a collaborative process. Okay. We're looking through all the websites. We helping each other, try to find that. Sometimes it's Nuha, sometimes my colleague Noor from our agency partnerships team, and we usually, or sometimes one of our partners, they tell us, hey,
we've just launched this website, and and we feature it on September, or the months of Product Meetup. But yeah, basically that's the process.
Who found this one?
I guess it was Noor or Nuha, but yeah, it was a collaborative process. We tried to find out the one that fit well. But yeah, this one was a greatly designed website, and yeah, it's nice to look at.
Okay, and so if someone wants to be showcased at the website of the month, what's the process?
So what's the process? You can reach out to either myself or my colleague Noor to drop, or you can drop it in the chat right now if you recently launched your website with Prismic. We can we can look at it and launch it, showcase it at the next Product Meetup.
I think there is also a section on the forum to basically share what you're working on or what you just released, like the Made with Prismic. So that might be also a good way to. That's the question. How can we submit to your platform? So perfect. So there is a very good way to share your website. Like one of the recommendations that we get and what we are looking at also a lot is just Twitter and actually social media. So like don't hesitate to mention us when you release a new website and you want to basically share it with your community. That's also something that we monitor quite a lot in order to detect those releases. And then just also reach out to us. That's a good one.
And if you're an agency and you design websites with Prismic, you also can reach out to us to become a partner page. If you Google it or Prismic/partners, you can apply for a partnership, and we can talk and see at your projects, look at your projects.
Anything else that you want to add on top of that?
That just you can go to our hire developer page and see generally what kind of partners we have, what kind of projects are built with Prismic, so you can get an idea what Prismic, what kind of projects we do, from e-commerce to cryptocurrency, exchange markets, etc. So yeah, if you're curious about the websites with Prismic.
Thanks a lot, Simon.
My pleasure. Thanks for inviting me. It's been a while, since my last appearance, and yeah, thanks everyone.
Thanks a lot. So we'll have a quick moment, like 5 minutes for Q&A. I guess so. If we are not too late in timing, can you tell me yes or no? Seems good. Okay, 5 minutes for Q&A. And then after that, there will be a follow-up video if I understood properly. No? Okay. So just 5 minutes Q&A. Okay, cool. So like again, we are here on monitoring the chat. So like if you have any question on what was presented today on the product, generally speaking, or even to us, like on any subject, if you want to have Simon's feeling about Figma being acquired by Adobe, don't hesitate. We are there to answer any of your questions. Yeah. Maybe I'm going to ask you the question in that case while waiting for the question.
Shoot
So
it.
What do you think about Figma being acquired by Adobe?
I mean, from what I understood, the general consensus about it, like people are afraid that it's not longer gonna be like accessible tool for everyone.
I mean, like
because,
costly?
Yeah, that because the Adobe is more considered like a enterprise solution,
Okay.
So I personally worked in the past a lot on Figma, and I'll be sad to know that if one day for my little personal project I'll have to use some other tool, I might be a bit bummed out, but yeah.
So what's your little project? Can you share it with us?
No, it's I don't want you to steal my business ideas. Docs for rent,
Docs for rent. So you have a website, docsforrent.com. We can find it. It's done with Figma, Prismic, and Next.js.
I hope one day, Basically, idea if you want to get a doc and you're not sure about it, you just it's not a it's a joke. Okay? it's not a serious idea.
Understood. No problem. But I think that basically no one else is having question, or at least that we don't have any question about your business idea on the doc for rents or even on Figma. So I guess it's the good moment to most likely wrap this up and to thank everyone that attended here. If you like the content, you can just drop a quick like. If you want to be warned about the next video that are coming up, like discussing Next.js, discussing next discussing Svelte, I would recommend you to subscribe to the Prismic channel. And if you're not aware of this, like those meetups are happening every last Wednesday of the month. So the next one will be the last Wednesday of October. I don't know exactly the date. the 26th? The 26th of October. So in the meantime, like you'll get new video coming out on the channel. But if we don't have the chance to discuss through another channel, see you the 26th of October. And it was a pleasure. Bye-bye.
Bye.